describes the love of God there, and he talks about the fact that it can't be measured, the depth and the width and the height and the length of God's love, that it's immeasurable. But I believe it's out of that idea, that terminology, that he says to us that our love needs to be a deep love. A love that it's not wishy-washy, a love that's not going to change with the tides or with the moods or with the circumstances even. That love is something that is absolutely essential to our holiness. Absolutely essential to our holiness. The book of 1 John, I believe, is a very clear message that love among brothers and sisters in Christ is a salvation issue. Stop and think about that. Love is definitely a salvation issue, because he asked there in about the third chapter, he says, how can you love God whom you have not seen? How can you love your brother? How can you love God whom you have not seen when you don't love your brother whom you have seen? And so the implication is, how can you say that you love God and hate your brother? You can't do that. It doesn't work that way. And so this idea of love here in 1 Peter 1:22, he says that love should be a love that is deep, that is not wishy-washy. And he also describes it as being love that is from the heart. What does that mean? Well, that almost runs across the grain with the idea of agape love, because if we love him with our heart, that means that our emotions are engaged in it. That it is an emotional love. It's not just action. It's not just going through the motions. But it's true love that is active, but it's active from the heart. And so he says that love comes from the heart. Let me simply ask you this question. The love of God that you have, that God has given to you, do you think it comes from the heart of God? Or does it only come from what he has done? Do you not think that what he has done for you comes from the heart of God? And if he loves us that way, how dare we love any other way? That our love needs to be sincere, it needs to be deep, and it needs to be from the heart. So he goes on and he says, you're not born, or you have been born again, not of perishable seed, but of imperishable. Sometimes we gather food that is non-perishable. Well, guess what? You and I are non-perishable. You ever thought about it that way? Because we're eternal. We're not going to go away. We're not going to cease to exist. Then we're not going to be thrown away. Through the love of God and through the salvation